Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here. Today we're going to be reviewing some Big Finish. We're going to be looking at Doctor Who The Last Adventure, specifically the final part, The Brink of Death, Colin Baker's final story. Well, I won't say his final story, but chronologically the sixth Doctor's final story, as it ends with the opening of basically Time in the Ronnie. It really does a good job of giving the sixth Doctor a proper send-off instead of what we got basically just in Time in the Ronnie, of explaining the events leading up to that. And it does it really, really well. It's a small cast, but I enjoyed the ones in it, especially the technician that's helping him in part of it, the female technician, Janesta, was that her name? Janesta? I think it was like Janesta, something like that. I liked her. I liked her as a character. She reminds me of the Doctor a lot, which is done on purpose. It really does remind you of the Doctor. She's a Time Lord. She's not a traditional Time Lord. She doesn't have much respect for authority, and she kind of just wants to get out and see places. You find out she was actually in Yorkshire for a while, because she has that Yorkshire accent, or Yorkshire, however you're supposed to say it, accent. But it's actually, I like her voice. Unlike Whitaker, whose accent drives me bonkers, it sounds really good. The actress playing her, I like her voice. It's really good. And I like her as a character. So I really like that character. Mel is in it, but Mel is not in it much, which is good, because Mel can be irksome. Although I hear Mel in Big Finish is a lot better. But Mel's not really in the story a lot. It very much is a plot of the Valeyard assuming the sixth Doctor's place, basically replacing him, not stealing his body, but rewriting time to where the Valeyard is the sixth incarnation of the Doctor, and no one notices, including Mel. She knows something slightly off, but she can't quite figure out what it is. And he has a really neat plan to kind of replace all of the Time Lords with him. Kind of like how we see happen at the end of The Ultimate Foe, when we see the Key Keeper at the end, and it turns out to be the Valeyard as the Key Keeper. It kind of explains why that happened and why that makes sense, instead of leaving you there going, eh? Which is what it always did for me at the end of Ultimate Foe. I'm like, interesting little cliffhanger, but... So it kind of explains how that could have happened, which I like. It does use the time travel mechanic well. It uses the Matrix well, which is kind of a staple of the Sixth Doctor and the Valeyard and the Trial of the Time Lord, the Matrix. So it brings the Matrix into this well. It brings everything together pretty well. It seemed more straightforward than most of the stories in this box set, because there's 4 stories in this box set. It's not my favorite of the 4. I don't know if I have a favorite. Probably the first one. I love part 1 a lot. There's so much going on in part 1. And I really enjoyed part 2 a lot. And part 3 was good, but not as good as parts 1 and 2. I think part 4 is right around with part 3. It's very straightforward. It's very good. It seems like it flies by very quickly. I'd say it's around an hour long. But it flies by quicker than I thought. I think I only paused it once just to eat a bite of something, and then I went back to it and finished it. Colin Baker is great in it. He does a really good job. His final speech at the end, right before he regenerates, is really good. They bring in Sylvester McCoy at the end. If you've seen the YouTube video online, somebody's done, I forget their name. It's a really good regeneration scene. It's a fan-made regeneration scene where you see the Sixth Doctor regenerating into the Seventh Doctor. He uses some of the dialogue from Brink of Death, and it's done really well. That's the headcanon regeneration in my head. I actually rewatched that YouTube video after listening to part 4, and they just merged together perfectly. So having Sylvester McCoy there, not for long, but his dialogue really helps, especially his voice blending with Colin's right there at the end with the "Our future is in safe hands" line. That's done really, really well. I enjoyed it. I liked it. Again, it's very straightforward, not a big cast, and it seems to move along faster than the others. When it was over, I was like, wow, it's over already? The others, even though I swear they're all about the same length, didn't seem to just zip by. This one, again, is much more straightforward. There wasn't as much what's going on in this. And of course, Michael Jason is just so great as the Valeyard. He has this laugh he does. It's so good, though. It's so good. It's so sinister, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Which his voice is good, too. He has such a cool, creepy voice. I absolutely love his performance. He steals the show in this. He really does. Even though, like I said, all the other actors do a good job as well. Yeah, I liked it. I don't have as much to say on it as some because it just kind of goes by so quick. I do love its use of time travel and how the Doctor manages to thwart the Valeyard and how he purposely sets himself up to have to regenerate, basically, because it's the only way he can fool the Valeyard. That's neat, and how that works, and how it ties directly in with the beginning of Time on the Rani's really well done. I'd still think my favorite story is the first one, with my second favorite being the second one. And maybe I'll do another review where I talk about the box set as a whole. But yeah, I liked The Brink of Death. I thought it was good. It and the one right before it, I forget part 3's name right off, when they're in the theater with Jago and Lightfoot, I think aren't as good as parts 1 and 2 for me. But they're still really good. The whole box set is really good. It and Jubilee are definitely my favorite Big Finish stuff I've heard so far. So, The Brink of Death, have you heard it? I'd like to know what you think. Comment down below and let me know. Other things to do, don't forget to click the like button and the subscribe button. That helps me out, and I certainly appreciate it. I am trying to grow the channel to 1,000 subscribers. That is my goal for 2023. So if you like what I do, I would appreciate you clicking that subscribe button, and that thumbs up button helps me with the YouTube algorithm. I also have a Patreon if you like what I do and would like to support what I do. There's a link to that down in the description below. You get early access to a lot of videos. You also get exclusive videos, including my fireside chat with Prowl, when I talk about me, life, the universe, and everything. I also do the unedited versions of the Sunday videos, the non-Doctor Who Sunday reaction videos I've started doing with like Quatermass and the Pit and Blake 7 and other stuff. The unedited versions of those will be on there as well. I believe it's at the $5 tier and up for those if you want to check those out. I also have a P.O. box if there's anything you would like to send me. This was actually sent to me by one of my subscribers and patrons. I believe it was Unknown289, I believe, who sent this one. So if you would like to send anything you want me to look at and review, my P.O. box is down there, as is a link to my Amazon wish list as well. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.